You know, if someone offers you £2 million for your company when you've only been doing it for a year, I would have took it straight away. But when you can actually see the potential and you've put that much effort, you know, even if someone was to say, well, I'll give you 10 million, I would say no.
Welcome to another episode of Recipe to Success. It's been a little while, but I was saving this one for a special one. Here we are. Mario, how are you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Good, thank you for coming on.
Welcome.
First interview.
First one, I haven't had time.
And maybe people have been a customer of your brand, but they don't know who you are. So let's go straight into it. Let's go into who you are, what you do, and what your brand's all about.
Yeah, my name is Mario Aleppo. So I started Fireaway 2016, one store, South London. And it's been a blur since then. 5 years later, we've got 96 stores.
Crazy.
Another 54 in the pipeline, and we're also starting to go international as well. So hence why I haven't had time for an interview. But yeah, we got there in the end.
And for anyone that doesn't know what Fireaway is, what is the brand like? What is it all about?
So in a nutshell, it's an Italian pizzeria, but we've added some touches, some twerks to it, and in simple terms, it's a Subway style pizzeria. So customers can have whatever they want on a pizza, one price, one size, 180 seconds, and we just keep it simple. But it's worked well. So
I just want you to repeat for the audience, just so it didn't go over their head. Like,
yeah.
How many branches have you got right now?
So we got 96
branches
open today, and we've got another 24 opening in the next 22 weeks. So just over one a week.
How does that feel, like starting from the brand being only in South London?
Yeah, to be honest, it's I do get asked that question a lot, and the honest answer is it's shocking, but I'm more shocked at what is in the pipeline, because we've been so busy, and I know what's, you know, in a month's time and 3 months time and 12 months time. So obviously I'm happy, over the moon that it's gone so well, but I haven't had too much time to sit and reflect, because we're just too busy.
It's crazy though, like, you know, honestly, people, like, they have that thought, right? They look at someone successful and they say, oh, his life must be amazing, like he must be so grateful, like he must be, you know, and you are grateful, of course, but it's like you just don't have the time. Like you're thinking about the next thing, the next vision, the next goal. Yeah,
I think people easily look at other people from the outside, and they obviously have their own opinions. But it's definitely, I wouldn't say it was amazing. Obviously, the results that we've got from it is definitely amazing. But in the beginning, for the first, say, 2 years, it definitely wasn't amazing. It was a struggle. It was a big struggle. Obviously, it went well, and we were getting a lot of good feedback. But at the same time, personally, it wasn't amazing. It was difficult, and I think people, they don't see that from the outside, but a lot of people ask for advice and tips and how we done it, and obviously I'm happy to give that. But I think people need to understand that it's not easy, that it is a struggle. I think anything worth doing is worth doing properly, but at the same time, anything worth doing is not always going to be easy, and
it's not always going to go the way that you want it to go. 2016 you started, right? The brand started in 2016.
April 2016 we opened one in South London, in between Sutton and Mitcham. I was born in Mitcham, so between Sutton and Mitcham. Small shop next to a KFC, not on the high street, on like a little parade of shops. And it wasn't easy, but we got a very good response. I think it's something different. I think whatever you do, you have to come with something different. You know, it can't just be another pizza shop or another burger shop. If you're gonna do something, it has to be different. It has to stand out.
And I think what interests me is that it's a space that you've innovated. It's not like, so for example, a pizza shop, there's so many pizza shops, and anyone could potentially open a pizza shop. However, the way you thought about it was completely different. Your execution was completely different, your branding, etc. So let's go back to that first day you opened, right? Or just before you even opened. Where did the idea come from?
I was going to open a Subway, believe it or not. I was going to open a Subway. I sat down with the people, and at the last minute I changed my mind, because it felt more like I was an employee than having my own business. They said you've got to pay 8% for this, you've got to pay 2% for that, you'll come and inspect the shop, and if we tell you to change something, you've got to change it. And it went away from kind of me having my own business to feeling like I was just working for someone else. So at the last minute I said, you know what, forget it, dropped out, cancelled everything. But by that time already had the shop, or had the legal work going on with the shop, so I couldn't really back out, and I decided to do something different. So we kept the Subway style, the layout, but pizza. Obviously I'm Italian, so it was the first thing that came to mind.
Natural, isn't it? It's just authentic. So that was where it came from. Subway, I'm guessing you looked at the model as well, and eventually you thought,
simple model. Pizza is not as simple, but it's still pretty simple. But simple layout, simple pricing, simple product, but just with a different kind of feel, different kind of atmosphere. And I think that's where we've stood up from, the other pizza shops on the high street.
So 2016, Subway falls through out of your own choice. You open in a place that maybe has not the best footfall, a small shop. Then what?
And then from there we had a customer, nice guy, Pakistani guy. He was a regular customer. His name was Talit, and he said one day, I want to do a franchise. Would you be interested in letting me do a franchise with his son? So at that time I didn't really know what a franchise was. Obviously I'd heard the word, but I didn't know the finer details. So had a look at it, and I said, you can do it, as long as obviously you do a good job, and you keep everything the same, you can do it. So he opened one after about 5 months, and it went even better than my one, to be honest. He was busier than me, so I was happy for him. It was about 20 minutes away in Streatham, also in South London. So his one opened, he done it very well, kept it to a high standard. Again, a small shop, not on the high street, just a little parade of shops, and it went well. And then after another 4 months, I opened another one in Croydon. Again, not too far away. So within the first 12 months, we had three stores, which was good. And people used to say, right, you've got 3 stores, it's only been a year. But I didn't think it was amazing. Even when we had 50 shops, I didn't think it was amazing. People said, you should go and give talks, you should help. And I thought, it's only 50 shops. Now that we're at 100 shops, I kind of feel like, all right, maybe now, it's something special.
Come on.
Now I can be interviewed, because I felt I wouldn't feel comfortable giving other people advice unless I really felt that, I had done something worth talking about. And 100 shops sounds like something,
That's extremely humble of you. So when you had 3 shops, you had Croydon, Streatham and Mitcham. What was the vision at that point? Was it that you were gonna take it bigger?
No.
Or?
To be honest, I was so busy, and so busy being busy, so stressed, that I didn't have time to think about a vision. And that's the honest answer. I can remember one night, I think it was a Friday night, about 1 o'clock in the morning, because we stayed open till about 1 o'clock. So it was about 12:30, and I was doing deliveries, running around delivering pizza. One of the chefs, he was sick, so he didn't turn up, so there was less people in the shop. Things were going wrong, I was running around doing deliveries. Then I remember customers calling up, complaining, saying, "Right, where's my pizza? It's been an hour." I'm rushing there, went for a speed camera, got flashed, broke hard, the milkshake spilled all over the car, and I just thought, that's like stressful times. I could have just said, forget it's just someone's pizza. But when you're trying to do something properly and you're worried about what every single customer, you want every single customer to be happy, which obviously is not always possible. It's not possible, but when you're trying to make it possible, things can get very, very stressful. So I remember that night in particular, I think it was my friend's birthday, so I couldn't even go to that. So I missed that, running around like a madman delivering pizzas, milkshake all over the car, speeding ticket, people calling, complaining, chef calling from the shop saying the till's not working. And there's a few times that I thought, you know what, this is not what I imagined when I started. So I was very close to giving up a couple of times, definitely at least a couple of times. So for anyone who thinks, it's easy, you just do this, do that, and bang, done, it's definitely not the case.
And in those early days where you're going through the hardest battles, a lot of the time you're working for free. You don't know.
100%.
You don't know like what the situation.
100%.
At the end of the month, you say, oh, okay, I need to pay all my stuff. I don't have anything left for myself.
One of the main mistakes that I made looking back is the price point, because obviously you wanted it to be cheap. So you put the product at a cheap price. You're very busy. People are loving it, but you're running around like a madman and you're not making any money. So looking back at it, it could have been the right decision, not purposely, but it could have been the right decision to get customers in, try the product. So I think you learn a lot along the way. But running around like a madman and not making a lot of money, but people saying, "Oh, you're doing really well. Your shop's busy," not knowing that you're not making any money. But I mean, everything's a learning curve, isn't it?
And it's something that you're not taught as well. Like you assume that, okay, you know what? If I am financially driven, I'm going to go into business. But then you get into it and you're like, most people don't even survive. And then if you do survive, I mean, it's tough.
100%. It's not easy, because it's when I first started, I thought, all right, you got a product, you give it to people, that's it. But there's so many other things that you don't even think about. Hundreds of things, from tax to legal work to accountants to deliveries to staff, to rent, to bills, to things going wrong. There's so many different. There's got to be at least 20 different departments, should you say, that you need to be worried about. It's not just a case of make a pizza, sell a pizza, pay the staff. It's really not. So thankfully still here. But it's
going strong.
Yeah.
And also it's like when you get through that hurdle, like that first 2-3 years, then you can really prosper.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what I found in my journey.
Yeah, I think the first 2 or 3 years, or first 2 years, will make you or break you.
Most people give up.
Yeah, to be honest, if I'm being really honest, I was close. I reckon I had a lot of businesses before that I just gave up on. Not because I gave up, but because in my mind it wasn't giving up, it was I had a better idea. So I had so many ideas running through my head, and I would start one, and then after a few months I'd say, oh, I got a better one. So I didn't see it as giving up, I saw it as, just a different idea. And if I'm really honest with myself, I probably would have given up on this one if it wasn't for the case that this was an actual physical shop. So you can't just, close the door and walk one day. There's legal sides of it. You're in a contract. I think it was a 15-year lease. They had deposit money, so we'd spent a lot on the shop. So it wasn't a case of, whereas other businesses like online you can just, close it, go home and think of something else. So luckily I was kind of stuck, and I know that night in particular that I said where it was just stressful, and there was a lot of nights like that. Finish at 1 o'clock, then you have to go to the cash and carry, lift how many cases of drinks into your car, damage your car, drive back to the shop, drop it off, then get home for like 3 o'clock, and then you've got to wake up at
hospitality is a crazy
o'clock.
lifestyle.
It's not easy.
Unsociable hours.
It's not easy at all.
So it's funny that you said that, because it's almost very similar to my journey, where before I started I tried loads of different businesses. I gave them up and stopped it because they were online, and then I really found my passion, and even when I found my passion, it was full of challenges. So when you eventually got into Fireaway, what was motivating you at that point? Was it to be financially free? What was your driver?
I think initially it was to make money. That's, I think, the reason most people go into business is to make money, but I think what they don't realize is there's other ways to make money. You know, you can get a good job,
very good job,
no stress,
no, you're gonna make
minimal stress, and you're gonna make, you know, and you don't have to worry about things going right or wrong. You know, you're gonna get paid at the end of the month. So I think, yeah, being in a job is, if it's a good job and you enjoy it, obviously not something that you hate going to, but if it's a good job, I think, yeah, it's underrated. People want to be have their own business because they think
it's cool.
It's cool and it's an easy way. You know, I don't want to work 9 to 5. I'd rather have my own business, but they don't realize, have your own business, you're not working 9 to 5, you're working 24 hours a day, you know, till 3 o'clock in the morning, and then you wake up at it's ironic because when I started my business, I wasn't an early person, so I hated waking up early for college or for school or for anything. So I wanted to have my own business so I could wake up when I want, go sleep when I want. But ironically, you have your own business and you haven't got time to sleep. So it's but as long as you enjoy it, I think that's the main thing. So the answer to that would be, in the beginning it was money motivated, money driven, but as the journey went on, it changed.
Mm-hmm. And now let's go back to the story. So 3 stores now. How did it escalate so quickly from there to almost 100 stores now?
I think so. The first 12 months, it was 3 stores. And then the second year, I don't think there was any stores. I think we just grew what we had. And then the third year, we just started getting applications, people coming into the shop, because we had 3 shops. And I think one of the best form of advertisement is just a shop, you know, more than online. If people are walking past and they see it, they come in.
And it's credible. It becomes credible.
It's credible, yeah. It's not just something in thin air. You know, they can see it. They can try the product. The product was good. Obviously, the design of the shop was different, and people just started coming in and saying, "Can I open a shop?" We let them open a shop, and then within a month of that shop opening, people from that area would start sending emails. "I want to open a shop. I want to open a shop. I like the idea. Something different." And then. Yeah, so first year 3 shops, second year still 3 shops, third year about 20 shops, fourth year about 50 shops, and then this last year we're at 96. So when you say it like that, it sounds crazy. It sounds mad.
So was there a turning point at any point where you felt like, okay, now I'm going to take this, where the vision came? Because
I think I'll be honest, the 2 points in my journey where I thought, we've got something good, something special. There was 2 points. The first one was at an awards ceremony in central London that someone invited me to. I wasn't going to go, but he said, I've got a spare ticket, you might as well come along. So I went along, me and two guys from Fireaway. We went along and we were listening to the awards, and there was a lot of people there. It was a black tie event, and one guy, quite an old guy, sitting at the next table, he must have, during the break, he must have made a comment about my shoes, like a funny comment. I had some spiked Louboutins, and he said, "Oh, you're gonna poke someone's eye out with them." Anyway, we got talking, and I said, "Yeah, my name's Mario, I'm from Fireaway," and he's like, "Oh yeah, we know who you are," and I said, "Okay." So which took me back a bit, because obviously I didn't know anybody in the room. He said, turned out he was from Domino's. And he said, "Yeah, we refer to you as a bomb threat." So that was when I thought, right, if a big company like that is referring to you as a bomb threat, then they're thinking, you know, there's something they need. He said, "We need to keep our."
You made it to like their wall in their office.
He said, "We need to keep an eye on you." So that was probably the first main compliment that I had in the business, when a big company like that, you know, is keeping their eye on you to make sure that you're the competition, basically. So that was the first point. The second point would probably be when we had about 30 shops, and someone comes, a friend of a friend comes to the office and gives you 100 grand and says, "I want this country. So no one can open in that country apart from me." So when someone's paying you 100 grand, they put 100 grand on the table, not in cash. Don't want to worry the tax man. But if someone says, "Look, I'll give you 100 grand. I want this country," and no one else can open in that country, and you're thinking you're not actually giving them any physical item, you know, you're giving them the
IP.
Yeah, you're giving them the authority to take your name, your company, your idea to another country. That made me think, because I can't think of any situation where I would have invested 100 grand into taking something. So when people, you know, make gestures like that you think, rah, they obviously, I must have something special, because this guy's giving me 100 grand just to take just for me to say, yeah, okay, you can take it.
It shows the valuation of the brand.
Yeah, and I think in the beginning I undervalued the brand, if I'm totally honest, whether that was from, you know, a lack of self-confidence in myself or my ability, or whether it was I'm quite impatient, so whether I just, you know, sell it, whatever, get whatever I can get, because I was impatient, or whether it was, you know, just a mixture of both of them. I think if I look back, I would admit that, yeah, at times I would have undersold the what I had created. So they're the 2 points. I think someone from the competition saying, you know, we're a bit worried about you.
We're watching you.
Yeah, we're watching you. And this guy who was one of, we've sold 8 countries now. So that was the first guy who came along and said, look, there's the money. This country, no one has it, just me. So obviously I signed straight away. And then we've sold, another 7. We sold the rights to 7 countries.
Wow.
Yeah.
So international is not far away.
International. We've got a shop in Amsterdam where the builders are in now, so that should open in about 5 weeks. And we've got a shop in Ireland, Northern Ireland in Belfast, which the builders are in, so that should open in about 6 weeks. So they'll be the first 2 international shops.
It's crazy, like when you see your brand come to life, like it's such a special moment. But now that you've got here, I'm really interested in knowing like how you grew up, because obviously you mentioned like you had a few businesses, but even before that, childhood, growing up in South London, like I want to know how Mario actually grew up and ended up in this position.
So I was born in Mitcham in South London, and from I stayed there till very recently. So I was born in South London, went to school in Mitcham, and then secondary school, my mum sent me quite far away, not far away, but you know, further than Mitcham, to quite a good school, and all my friends went to the local school. So I didn't know anybody. I think there was about 3 of us from my previous school, so it's 3 of us, and they split us up into different classes. So literally didn't know anybody, and that kind of, I hated school, to be honest with you. I used to go to the phone box, ring my mum, tell her I don't feel well, jump back on the bus. So I was waiting at the bus stop for the bus back when the kids were getting off the bus to go to school, and that was at least, I would say, twice a week. And then I kind of realized that, you know, I would have to give it a try. I'd have to kind of stick to it, but intelligence wise, or I say intelligence, but intelligence in the subjects that were available, like the basic subjects, I didn't really take to. English, maths, history, geography, I didn't really take to any of them. So my time was spent selling sweets in the playground, which I know quite a few of people from the podcast I listen to with you.
It's
which
funny though, isn't it?
It's
like
mad. It's
you
mad.
have no idea, and
no
you
idea
do the same
that,
things.
So now, looking back, you know, you got to look out for the people that are selling sweets in the playground. That was my way of just kind of, number 1, making money, because I didn't have any money, and number 2, just passing the time. You know, there was about 4 or 5 of us used to go to Tesco in the morning, buy loads of sweets, like multi-packs, go to the playground, and that's it. Used to make about £15-20 a day, which at the time, you know, £15-20 a day, that's £100 a week. That's like more than the state pension, you know. So
you're laughing at that.
Yeah, it was good. Plus, it was a way of just, you know, passing the time, and it gave me a kind of motivation to go to school. If I'm honest, so that was good. That was 14, 15 years old. But I think growing up in South London, there's so many, growing up in London anyway, anywhere in London, you know, there's so many, it's not like you're in the countryside, there's so many different people, there's so many, you know, good people, bad people, there's just so much going on. if you want to make money, you'll make money. You'll find a way of making money, you know. And I think being a young person, especially these days, if you're like a young kid and you want to make money and you're seeing all these other people that have got nice things, especially with social media, you know, you don't know what's real, what's not real. You see a guy there with a Ferrari and a stack of money in his hand. You everything's in your face. So I think in growing up in London, if you want to make money, you'll make money. And I think that's, you can choose to make quick money or long money, and I think most people are very tempted, at least I was, to look for shortcuts, you know, and that can get you into trouble. Either from selling sweets at school, which is not the crime of the century, you know, but little things, but then they lead on to other things. I remember on my 16th birthday, I was a regular at the Wembley Market in North London. So me and my friend from school, we used to buy trainers from there and sell them on eBay. Obviously, they weren't real trainers, but
like Air Maxes and stuff.
Yeah, Air Maxes. They were like cheap. They were like 20 quid, and the real ones were 100 quid. You know, so we bought them from there. I remember coming back on the tube with him, like boxes of trainers, like 10, 20 boxes. We used to sell them at school, sell them on eBay. And I remember once a guy on eBay called me and he said, I want to buy 1,000 pairs of trainers. So I told my guy at the market, the little guy on the store, I said, look, I've got a customer, he wants to buy 1,000 pair of trainers. So he said, yeah, no problem, let's go to the, he had a self-storage place in Greenford. So we went there now, and he opened this massive shut, and he had so many fake clothes, like talking about thousands of pairs of trainers, like thousands upon thousands stacked up to the ceiling, massive unit. And he said, are you sure this guy that you met is good? I said, yeah, don't worry, he's good. This was my 16th birthday, so obviously my mum's thinking, like, where's he going? It's a Saturday, he's 16, where's he going? So I went to meet this guy at the self-storage unit, and we're waiting for this guy from eBay to come, and he came. Normal looking guy, came with his friend, and he said, oh, can I see the trainers? So we took him up to see the trainers. He looked at them, he looked at a pair, and he was like, yeah, that's fine, let's go get the money. And I was due to make £1 on each pair of trainers, and he was buying 1,000 pairs of trainers, you know, for 16 grand, and we was getting it for 15 grand, but I wasn't doing anything, I was just putting them in contact with each other. Anyway, went down to the van, and I remember he put his hand on my shoulder, the guy. He said, look, I know it's your birthday, mate, and then he pushed me forward, and then out of nowhere came about 20 police officers, trading standards, and I was thinking, oh my god, it's my 16th birthday, you know, I'm in Greenford, you know, miles from home, it's my birthday, and I don't know what's going on. So anyway, my mum came to pick me up from Acton police station on my 16th birthday, which was a story. But little things like
That's
that, you
crazy.
know, it's
what
not
a story.
It's not the crime of the century. It's not like prison crime, but at the same time, it's not 100% legal. So I think,
and it came from a good place though. It was an entrepreneurial journey.
It was. Look, I said to look, I'm buying trainers. I don't know if they're fake or not. You know, I just put them in contact, and that's it. So luckily, it didn't go any further. I don't know what happened to the guy from the market, but if he's watching, apologies. But yeah, little things like that. So just selling sweets in school, just trying to, you know, there was not a lot of money around, especially if you're a kid, you know, and you want nice things, then obviously you're gonna look, you know, out of the box.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where a lot of people can get into trouble.
And growing up in South London, sometimes you do have different challenges to people growing up in nicer parts of London, right?
100%.
So what were some of those things like that you experienced that you had to fight off to actually pursue your vision or your dreams?
I think seeing, if you're with the social media, I think it's different because you see what else is out there. But if you're growing up in a certain area and there's not a lot of nice things around, you're not really seeing anything else. So you might not know, you know, what else is available. So I think it's different in this generation. People can see what the options are. You can, you know, go on Instagram, you see people living the high life in Dubai. Back in the day, you know, if you ask where's Dubai, I probably wouldn't have been able to even tell you. So I think these days it's a lot more difficult for kids to fight off the temptation of trying to make quick money. But for me personally, growing up in South London, when I left school at 16. I left school at 16, dropped out of school because I didn't, you know, education-wise and intelligence-wise. I knew how to buy and sell things, but I didn't know nothing about history, geography, you know, English was like basic, maths basic. So there wasn't many options unless you're gifted with, you know, high intelligence, or you really enjoy things like history or geography. For me, history was just repeating things, so it was like a parrot, you know. I didn't find that interesting. Maths, English, maths kind of, but there wasn't really anything apart from art that I found interesting. So unless you're gifted with, you know, some sort of intelligence, or you can play football, you know, or you're good at a sport, then the options are limited. So the main thing I enjoyed, or which I found myself doing, was just buying and selling things in the playground. But then 16, school finished, so dropped out of school, and then between 16 and I'd say 21, if I'm honest, I just wasted my time. Didn't do anything, you know. Went to a couple of college courses, dropped out of college. Didn't do anything, just wasted my time, just hanging around with friends. And people say, oh, you're hanging around with the wrong people. But if you're all in the same situation, then there isn't really any wrong people. They're just all in the same boat, you know. So smoking, just driving around, just not really doing anything productive, if I'm honest with myself. So if there's any regrets that I had, it would be not starting a business earlier. But I always had this, because in school I was making money. Then when I left school, I was thinking, in the back of my head, I thought I'm always going to make money. I won't have any issue making money. And I think that's a dangerous way to think, because you get very complacent. So if you think I'm all right, I'm always going to make money, then you're not in a rush to do anything, because you always say, I'll do it next week. You prolong it because you think it's going to happen, when the reality is it's not. Unless you get up and, you know, go and get it, it's not going to happen. So that was one thing that I regret, is when I left school from 16 till 21, I must have done about 2 college courses, which I dropped out after about 4 months. Got into trouble, you know, got arrested a number of times. And then at the age of about 20, it kind of changed. And I think the reason it changed was an incident that happened. I was driving around with some friends. It was late at night, and we stopped outside of an off license to get a drink, to get some cigarettes or to get a drink. And we pulled up outside, and there was a homeless guy. And I knew straight away he was going to come up and ask for money. So we're still in the car now. He comes up, he knocks on the window. I put the window down, and you know, he wasn't fully with it. And he's like, oh, I need money, blah blah. So I looked in my pocket. I gave him, I think it was £1. I gave him £1, and he walked off. And as soon as he walked off, there was blue lights behind me, and the car that was parked behind me was undercover police. So they got out, they stopped the homeless guy, and then they came up to us and said, what was that you just gave him? It looked so dodgy. Like, the guy came up to the car window, put his hand in, took something and walked off, and it looked so dodgy. I remember thinking to myself, no, this doesn't look good at all. And I was driving, my friends were in the car, you know. Anyway, the police, they searched us, didn't find nothing. They searched the homeless guy, and he had drugs on him, you know. And it just looked so bad. And I can remember the policeman like looking at me, and I said, look, I know it don't look good, but I only gave him £1, you know. He asked the guy was like, yeah, no problem. The policeman, he was like, yeah, no, that's all right, don't worry about it. But I can remember when he let us go, and they arrested the homeless guy. When he let us go, I looked back at the police officer, and I knew 100% in his head what he was thinking. Anyway, that was when I was 20. A couple of weeks later, 6 o'clock in the morning, my front door got booted off by the police, and about 20 police came in my house, and it was the same police officer that had stopped me. Same police officer. It was 6 o'clock in the morning, and I can remember thinking to myself, although I hadn't done nothing wrong, you know, if I had a job or if I was doing something, I doubt that would have happened. But when they're seeing, you know, 4 young guys in a car, they're smoking, they're drinking, they're not working, they're not doing anything, they're not doing, you know, anything, and then, you know, something looks dodgy happens, you can kind of see where they're coming from. You can't, you know, argue with the fact what it looked like, because even I knew what it looked like. So that happened, and I can remember I was about 20 years old, and my mum, my 2 younger brothers, 2 younger sisters, all sitting in the front room, 6 o'clock in the morning. My mum's in handcuffs, and you know, you think to yourself like, nah, I can't. No matter how big you think you are, no matter how much money you've got or how much money, you know, you want, when you're in that situation, you know, it wakes you up. And I was half asleep. It was 6 o'clock in the morning. You know, I never woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning in my life. and now there's 20 police like running through your house, looking in your clothes, and it wasn't good. So from that day, literally that day, I said to myself, no, I need to do something. You know, I can't just be waiting for things to happen and just wasting time. And you know, you're just wasting time. That's in a nutshell. You're just wasting time. You know, you might not be doing nothing majorly wrong or illegal, but you're not doing anything at the same time productive. You're just letting time pass you. So a couple of weeks after that happened, I got a job in Nando's flipping chicken. Didn't enjoy it, but like you said, learning the kind of food industry. And I remember my nan saying to me that there's two businesses you won't run out of customers. One is food and one is funerals. Everyone's got to eat, everyone's got to die, but you can't really be too creative with funerals. So hence why, you know, I'm a big food person as well. I travel far and wide to like try different foods and different restaurants. So yeah, I worked in Nando's, didn't really enjoy it, didn't really like being told what to do. Worked there for about 4 months, saved up some money, and then ended up getting fired from there because I didn't listen to them. They kept telling me to wear that hat. I hated wearing that hat. And anyway, left there. That was Nando's in Tooting. So I left there, and I had some money saved up, and there was a shop available. It wasn't even a shop, it was like half a shop. It was an estate agent's, and then he had this little box. It was like the size of a toilet in Tooting, and it had a little sign on there. It said to let. So I called him, and it was cheap. It was about £100 a week. It was nothing. It wasn't even a shop. It was like a box. It's like literally a box, a toilet. So I thought, oh, what can I do here? So I started selling coffee, waffles, paninis, and cut a long story short, it failed miserably. Yeah, it failed. Within about 5 months, I had people like friends, associates coming outside, drinking, smoking. No customers were coming in. It just didn't look good. So, but it was a good learning lesson for me, because you know I was working for myself. I got there early in the morning to catch people on the way to the train station, selling coffee, trying to sell coffee, paninis, but it didn't really look very presentable, you know. But it was my first.
But in hindsight, it's like those things are powerful.
Yeah,
it's the failure that you learn the most.
Yeah, every time I see people that I haven't seen for a while, they say, "Oh, remember when you had that shot?" I said, "No, don't talk about that." And they're like, "No, it's good because that was your first, you know, that was your first business." And I think people should know that you won't always succeed on your first business, but which is good because you need to learn to fail. Because if you think you just succeed all the time, then it's not a good, you know, mindset to think you're always going to succeed, because the truth is you're not.
You have to take L's along the way.
100%, you need to. So that lasted for about 4 months. Gave the keys back to the guy. It wasn't even a contract. I just paid him, you know, cash every week. So I just said, look, didn't work. And then after that, I was involved in a car crash. Got some money from compensation. Big car crash.
Really?
Yeah. So I was driving along the main road, and some old lady came out of a side road, hit me in the side, knocked me onto the other side of the road, and another car coming the other side hit me head on. And that was a big crash, big crash. So got quite a bit of money from that.
Were you injured, like seriously injured?
Yeah, I had whiplash. Got whiplash.
Oh yeah.
Major whiplash. And
if you're watching, insurance company.
Major whiplash. And then so I got some money from that, and I thought, what can I do? It's not a lot of money, you know, 10 grand. It's not a lot. So I went to the bank. I had pay slips from Nando's, so I got a personal loan from the bank. I think for about 35 grand. Put the money together and said, I'm going to open my own shop, but like a proper shop. I'm going to do a Subway. So found a shop, and then then it went on to,
the rest,
you know,
the Fireaway story.
Yeah, it went on to that. So yeah,
Wow, I really enjoyed that, man. That's a serious story, like.
Yeah, but I think everyone's got their own. I think people have to go through difficult times and, you know, tough times to show their true colours and what they're capable of, because it's when things aren't going right that, you know, you can see what a person does. If everything's going right and everything's happy days, then you can't really, you're just going with the flow. So that's pretty much it. It went from selling sweets in school to getting into trouble to starting a coffee shop which failed, to going for a Subway, changing it at the last minute, and then this.
Crazy. So for anyone that is in that situation where like they're they're doing nothing, right? And similar to what you said, like you can't just sit and expect that for things to come to you. So for anyone struggling to take action right now, what would you say? What would your words of wisdom
I would
be?
say don't always look for the easy option. Don't look for the easy option, because half the time the easy options, they won't get you very far. They'll get you far for a short period of time, and then they won't. So when
make you rich, not wealthy.
That's it. You know, when I was young and I was doing these things and getting into trouble, you make money and then you spend the money because it comes quick, it goes quick, you know. So you're making money, but it's going straight away. And the thing with having your own business or making money quickly is, when you're building up your business, you might not be making a lot of money, but you're building something. So in the end, you can sell it, you know. We've had offers for this, which ridiculous. And if they had asked me that 3 years ago when I started, I would have took it. You know, if someone offers you £2 million for your company when you've only been doing it for a year, I would have took it straight away. But when you can actually see the potential and you've put that much effort, you know, even if someone was to say, well, I'll give you 10 million, I would say no. 100% no, because you can realize the potential. So when you're starting your business, starting a company, that company is building value and you can sell it. You know, when you're doing things on the street, you're making money, but you can't sell that to someone, you know. You're not building anything, you're just making money. I know people that have made so much money, like when you were younger, but now they haven't got nothing left because you can't actually do anything, you know, with it. People, there's not much you can do, your options are limited. But once you've got something that you've built, a legitimate company, you can borrow money, you know, the banks will give you money at very good interest rates. So I think my advice would just be, don't always look for the quick option, the shortcut. Actually put in effort, because it's that effort and work. But even me, back in the day, I was lazy. So now I can spot when there's people working for me that are lazy. I can spot it, because I used to be the same. I used to be like in Nando's. I would just, when no one's looking, I would just I would just pretend I'm doing something, or I say I just need to make a phone call quick. And if I'd done that 4 times a day and then went to the toilet 4 times a day, I'll calculate that I got an hour off of work, because you're not enjoying it, because it's not for you. But I think everyone should get a job in the beginning, because when you employ people in your own company, you can know how they feel and what they want and what they're doing. Because if you're born with money and you know, open a company, employ loads of people, and you've got money anyway, there's not really a struggle, and you don't really care what people are doing, because it doesn't matter if you fail or not. But when you've got no other option but to succeed, it puts a lot more stress on you, but it also teaches you a lot more, especially with social media these days. You look on there and it's full of people trying to sell courses, and they're standing in front of a Ferrari, you know, like an arm full of money. And they're
making money from selling
They're making money from selling, and you look at it and it said, are you tired of, you know, working 9 to 5, pay for this course, £50, and then you pay £50 and you still didn't learn nothing. In fact, you're poorer than when you started because you lost £50. But, so I would say, don't always look for the shortcut. And if you see all these things on social media, I saw something about a property guy last week about flipping properties, searched his name on Google, checked his companies, like 10 of them been dissolved, he's in debt, you know, but he's on there looking like he's living the life, you know. And there's people out there that are doing it, like my younger brother, Bitcoin, you know, he knows it like the back of his hand, and he knows when to buy, when to sell. He's made a lot of money out of it, my younger brother. But me, if I look at like one of them charts, I'll get a headache. You know, I won't know the first thing what I'm looking at. You know, I won't know, have no idea. So
the problem is if it's too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you know, people fall for it. That's why people get scammed, because they want it to be true. When you want something to be true, you don't see like all the warning signs. You just think, it's true.
It's like the lottery. Millions of people around the world, they go into lottery because it's just that chance of something happening.
It's hope. They're selling. They're being sold a dream. I remember we signed up for something when I was younger, ACN. It was like I don't know if it's a pyramid scheme, but it was endorsed by Donald Trump, which should have been a warning sign straight away. So people used to use his face. Look, so he said it's good, so it must be good. Look, and we signed up, and then they were like, yeah, get all your friends round in your house, and we'll come and give them a talk, you know, and we'll sign them all up, and for every person that signs up, you get this and this, and you're bringing all your friends round, and they're giving you this talk, this pitch, and then he's saying, you know, go buy a suit, like a nice expensive suit, because you need to show what you want to be. And I said, yeah, but I haven't got money to buy a suit. He's like, no, you need to go buy a suit. They want you to buy a suit so that when you go and tell all your friends, sign up to this. Oh, he's got a nice suit. He must be making money, but it's all a show, So they're trying to sell you the dream, and they want you to sell that to other people. And then in the end, you've got all your friends signed up to this. Yeah, fake it till you make it. That's exactly it. And in the end, all the people that were trying to sell me that 5 years ago, I don't think any one of them has made money off of it. But you're selling that hope, that dream, that this is going to work, and you don't have to do a lot of work for it. That's why people, because they think I'm making money, but I'm not even putting in that much effort. But like you said, if it's too good to be true, it most probably is. I think my advice would just be to start as quick as possible. I was one of these people that just said, I'll do it tomorrow, do it next week, I'll do it after, because I'm going to do it, but I don't need to do it now because I'm going to do it. So if I'm going to do it and I'm going to make it, then I don't need to do it right now. Which was, if I had started the business 5 years earlier when I left school at 16, 17, then, God knows where we would be today, but we're all right.
Love it. Mario, what motivates you now? Like, obviously you started out just to get money to eat and money to build a future, and you've built a company that's got over 100 branches. It's no longer about the money, I'm guessing, with the Rolls Royce outside.
Nice.
But like, what is it that drives you now?
It used to be about the money, and then you'll get to a point, I hope you get to a point, and anyone starting a business will get to a point where you're making money and money's coming in. Regardless what you do, money's coming in, so if money's coming in, it's no longer about the money. I think people want things that they don't have. I always wanted a Rolls Royce, and I bought one, but it was more fun at a point wanting it, and the journey, the chase, the
anticipation.
Yeah, the anticipation, because you're building it up in your head. That's why I think people who win the lottery, they'll have it within a day, and that's when things go wrong. But when you have to work for it and it takes like 5 years, the closer you get to it, then you start thinking, oh, maybe this is is not going to be as good as I thought it would be, because you've built it up for so long. And then when you finally get, obviously people like nice cars, some people like jewelry, some people like you can't really judge other people on
everyone's got their
everyone's got their own things. But regardless, money wise, when you get to a point where money's coming into the business, regardless what you do, money's going to come anyway. So therefore you're not thinking about it. It's not that you don't want it, it's just not thinking about it, because money's coming in. The money's there.
You're not chasing the money.
You're not chasing the money. Then it becomes about how are you going to make a difference, and you don't have to have a world changing idea. When I say make a difference, I mean make a difference on the high street, food wise, clothes wise, something different, digital platforms, just something that will make a difference, not necessarily save lives, but
you're adding something to
adding something. Because whereas in the beginning I didn't really care what the customers thought, I just wanted to make money. I just wanted to make money. But then you realize, hang on, customers are your bread and butter. If every single customer that walks through the door comes back, then you're gonna be laughing. So it becomes about making a name and a reputation for not necessarily yourself, but for the company that you've created. It doesn't have to be about you, but
it's bigger than you now.
Yeah, it's bigger than you, because I think money is good, but it can only buy so much. People get ill regardless how much money they got. My granddad used to say that there's no point being the richest man in the cemetery. You can't take it with you. So money's gonna come, it's gonna go. So put that aside. And which is ironic, because when I was starting right in the beginning, even before I started, when I was at school, people used to say, make a business, but forget about the money. Forget about the money. Focus on. And you used to think, but I want to make money.
Yeah, like what else am I going to do?
And you used to try and understand it and try and do what they said about forget about the money, but you can't, because at that time
you have nothing.
Yeah, so your perception changes, your mindset changes. I think it changes a lot.
What I've realized is that when you come from nothing, at the beginning the money has to be important. Like people that come from money, they can't understand that the money is the foundation. But then once you've made a bit of money, you go out and buy whatever you want. Then it's like, okay, but now what? Now I need to go back to work.
Yeah.
So it's almost like the purchases end up being around convenience, around you know, I work so hard, so I might as well, right?
Yeah.
And driving in a nice car, okay, I'm gonna have less back pain. I'm gonna be a bit more relaxed. I'm gonna, you know, so there's multiple benefits that when you buy those big purchases, it's not actually because of the money or because of the showing off. It's because like you've worked for it.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have got a convertible because I'm not that kind of person that wants everyone to look at you down the high street. You know, I like a nice car. I always wanted a Rolls Royce.
But it's for you, right? It's for you.
It's for you. To be honest, you can probably get like a Toyota that is just as comfortable. But you know, if you set your target on something that you want, and then you finally get it, you know, it's not life changing, but
it's motivating.
Yeah, it's motivating. You say you got it, and that's it. You know.
I love it. I could sit here and talk to you all day. We might have to do a part 2 when you've got like 150 branches. But before we wrap up, let's have a bit of fun. Let's do the rapid fire questions.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get to know Mario on a bit of a deeper level. So just literally answer the questions as quick as you can. Don't think about it too much.
All right, I'll try.
Ready?
Yeah.
Night in or night out?
Night in.
Pepsi or Coke?
Neither.
Money or love?
Love.
Laundry or dishes?
Dishes.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Your favourite city in the world?
London.
Really?
Yeah, I think from where I grew up, and people come from all over the world to come here, I think we should be very lucky, you know, we're in a place such opportunities. Having said that, when I get stressed and I, you know, feel like I'm close to having a mental breakdown, I like to go out to the like Cotswolds, like the proper countryside, and just
peace
and quiet. But apart from that, work-wise and life-wise, London. But it's good to get out. Your
favorite scene in the world? Okay, nice car, nice home.
Nice home.
Netflix or YouTube?
YouTube.
And if it happens, AJ or Fury?
AJ.
Ronaldo or Messi?
Messi.
What's your favorite supercar?
Rolls Royce.
What you have outside?
When I was younger, it used to be like a sports car, convertible. But as you get older, I think things change. Like I wanted like a modern house, you know, glass house, Ferraris, Lamborghini outside. But
this is that picture like that you see on Instagram.
But now when you're older, and I think people need to know that what you think now and what you think in 5 years is going to be different.
It should be different.
It should be different. Don't think that it's always going to be, you know, the same. So I'm happy with a Rolls Royce and a little cottage in the countryside.
Horror or comedy movie?
Comedy.
When you're not working, how do you like to spend your time?
Sleeping.
All-time favourite meal? Fireaway.
Pizza. I have to say pizza. I get in trouble.
What was your first job?
Paper round.
Paper round?
Yeah,
wow,
before
okay.
Nando's, paper round.
Where would you like to retire?
The countryside, England.
Passenger or driver?
Driver.
Role model growing up?
Honestly, I'm a big fan of a comedy, that old comedy, Only Fools and Horses, and I get compared to Del Boy a lot. It's not 100%, it's not illegal, it's not legal, it's just in the middle, you know, like wheeling and dealing, like on the borderline of dodgy, but nothing too bad, but nothing, you know. I didn't have any role model, if I'm honest, growing up. So I always used to go to my nan's house, and that was about 1995, 96, 97, and literally all day long on the TV, it just used to be repeats of Only Fools and Horses. So literally that's how I grew up. That's probably why I started selling sweets at school, because it was that mind frame. Like they always wanted to be millionaires. They never did. They always used to fail, but it was that kind of, you know, the chase of trying to do something. They always failed, so thankfully I haven't failed. But that used to be, honestly, that used to be my role model growing up.
It's amazing. So before we close up, for anyone that wants to now follow you, because you're also on Instagram, you're a bit low key, but there's a lot of value to gain. And for your brand as well, where can they find you?
Yeah, we're on Instagram, Fireaway Pizza, or the website fireaway.co.uk. We've just, as I said, sold the rights to 8 different countries, Australia, Canada, Netherlands, and a few others. So there's a lot of opportunities from people from different countries to get involved, and also in the UK. You know, we've got 96 shops, we've got another 54 deposits taken. But there's still space. We're still 5 years in. You know, we're still kind of a new company. You know, when people say, oh, how long you been doing it for? 5 years. And they can't believe it. 5 years in business is not a long time. But saying that, when I was younger, if I didn't make money within a week, I wasn't interested. If someone said, look, invest your money in this, and in a month you'll get back this, I would have said a month.
It wasn't real. It didn't become real.
I would have said a month. That's too long. I wanna go out at the weekend, you know. So 5 years in business is not a long time. So I never had a 5-year plan, but I can see why people have, you know, 5-10 years plan. Some people even plan 20 years ahead, you know, because things that are worth it takes time. And that's it. That's my.
Do you have an ultimate goal now?
I think ultimate goal, I know money is not that important, but if we can sell the company for 100 million,
is that the plan, exiting?
I would say, yeah, if we can get to 250 shops, so we've got 100, we've got another 50 in the pipeline, that's 150 by the end of next year. If we can do another 100 in the 2 years after, so basically 5 years from now, if we can have 250 shops, and we can get 100 million valuation, then for me, that will be happy. I'll be happy. You know, I always wanted 30 shops by the time I was 30 years old, and on my 30th birthday we had 29, so I missed it by one, but I didn't give up.
But you pushed yourself.
And now I'm 31, so 1 year later we got nearly 100 shops.
Almost 150.
Almost 150 in the pipeline, but nearly 100 shops open. Gravesend opens today, and North Harrow opens day after tomorrow. So we've got 2 shops opening this week. So yeah, I think set yourself targets, set yourself goals, but don't make them too unrealistic. Like, I start my business and then next year I'm going to buy a private jet, you know, because chances are you're going to be disappointed. But start my business and in 3 years have, you know, multiple locations. Set yourself, I would say, small targets, just slightly maybe out of reach, and then yeah, don't give up.
Perfect. Be sure to go and support Mario and Fireaway. Honestly, it's a brand that is close to my heart. You know, I've watched it grow as well, you know, from the background. So this was special for me. The podcast was special for me because I wanted to learn the story myself as well, and I think there's a lot of value to gain. So be sure to support. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you soon.